Hello and welcome everyone. Today is June 22nd, and this is the Cluster API Provider AWS community meeting. As always, we abide to the CNCF Code of Conduct, so please be kind to each other and follow that. So yeah, it looks like we have a new face. Andrea, if you wanna say hi, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, no worries.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Uh, I'm Andrea. I've joined the Kappa team in Red Hat around 2 months and a half ago. So this is my first time attending this meeting, and yeah, really happy to work with you all.
Great. Welcome. Yep, thank you. Right. So regarding today's agenda, we have a couple of items. One is from Mohammed and one is from myself. Mohammed, do you want to write down your item here and then just quickly mention it maybe?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, just give me 1 second. Yeah.
Yeah, I can write it if you want to just mention it.
Yeah, so here I have two BRs that need review and approve. I will write them here in oops. Yeah, just copy the Slack message I have.
Mhm.
Yeah, this one here. So yeah, if you guys can just give me those review, give a review, and if you think it's good, if you can approve it, that would be appreciated. Oops.
Okay. Yeah, you can have a look. Thank you for mentioning that. I guess we will potentially round robin it across reviewers, but yeah, thank you for that. The other topic is yours, Richard.
Uh, yeah, sorry, I was just running out, but I'll write out afterwards. So we ran out of, we hit a limit of public AMIs in our AMI account. So we've deleted the 129 and 130 AMIs from that account just to bring us below the default limit of 50. So I did raise a service request to get that limit up to 100. I'll need to check on that to see if that's been done. But there is also a PR open that we can run that will, given a Kubernetes version, it will go and delete the AMIs from our account across all of the, God knows how many regions we publish those AMIs to. So as part of that PR, there's also a GitHub action. So we can just, any of the maintainers or anyone with right access can just execute that. This is obviously dangerous and also helpful. But yeah, it removes me as a single point of failure there.
Yeah, thank you very much, Richard. That's really appreciated, and thank you for jumping on that and cleaning them up when I screamed about it. uh, yeah. So, do you know how? And this may be very well a topic for um, maintainers in general and not necessarily for everyone, but do you know, would it make sense to have uh, one or two more people in the AWS account group?
Yeah, I think we definitely need another person.
Mhm.
I know they were quite reluctant to have people, and that, well, all the things should be done via automation. But yeah, we definitely need to add another person to it at least or two. So yeah, I can get on that case and get that sorted.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like to ease yourself as well to, maybe like you're not around or someone else is not around and it is not that easy to get the
Yeah,
grips
yeah, it's definitely.
with the account itself. Also, it's
I'll
really
get.
useful for debugging. like being able to get in and try things up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'll let me write that down and I'll get that sorted this week.
thanks.
I guess related to that though is sorry, while we're talking on this topic.
Mhm.
So Wendy obviously did a bunch of work around automating the build of AMIs as soon as there's a new Kubernetes release out.
Mhm.
So that's currently blocked on one setting in GitHub Actions that I'm following up on. But as soon as that is fixed, then her automation should kick in. So we'll be getting a whole bunch more AMIs published. At which point we should probably then start to automate the AMI publication policy. So we could probably use some of these scripts that are in there. Because that basically says our AMI automation policy says we'll already support 3 minor versions of Kubernetes. So, maybe 135, 134, 133. Actually, no. And then that will also help with this, making sure we stay under the limit. But there could be a bit of pain initially until we get that done.
Yeah. So are the actions basically reconciling a desired list rather than just creating them?
Yeah. So there's 2 parts to it. There's two main, well, 3. There's 2 GitHub actions. One basically hits the Kubernetes repo and looks for releases, and then it will see if there's a new release there. And then within our repo, it keeps a list of all of the Kubernetes versions and another list which is, I guess, the versions that we want, and then another list which is the ones that are all missing, because they might be slightly different. So then it creates that and checks that into a repo, and then we have another GitHub action that sort of operates over that and then spins up workflows to do the build. So we've got the current manual action. It basically spins up multiple instances of that through the build.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, good stuff. Thank you for having a look at those. I know we had the LFX mentee that had a look at that, which is good. And yeah, right. Just yeah, let me know if you need anything on that front, like reviews or anything else. I know you have put up a couple of PRs for the MI management. I still need to get around to have a look, but if you can post the link here, maybe some other people are interested in having a look. And yeah, anything else on AMIs or comments? Looks like not. Do you wanna go with your topic again, Richard? I'm trying to keep mine last in case Daniel shows up.
Okay, yeah, very quick one. There's been a couple of, I guess, Rosa PRs around for a long time. One was just a proposal that was purely in the Rosa area. Didn't touch any other parts of Kappa, and it's been open for a long time. So I guess this is it must be a constant area of annoyance. The Rosa stuff sometimes just gets stuck waiting on a maintainer to approve it. So I'm wondering how we can make that better in the future. I know we've talked about adding owners or more owners files in specific packages, but I guess in this instance that wouldn't have worked because the proposal folder isn't specific to Rosa, unless we have like a subfolder for Rosa as well. That would help. So just I guess it mainly affects Mohammed and I forget the name of the other person that works on it.
Andrea.
But Andrew. But yeah, just open to proposals for this because it would just make people's lives easier.
Yeah, that's a great question. I guess, yeah, owners can help. We have, I think Mohammed set them up. Unfortunately, we cannot cover everything with owners because, yeah, there are some common, maybe like utility places or API changes or like some bits and bobs of the configuration that need to be changed centrally, which means, yeah, if that's the case, it's hard to get them approved by owners only. So yeah, I guess we discussed several options. But yeah, at the moment I think owners is the best we got. And then for the common shared stuff, we can always kind of like rely on maintainers limited time to try and get to it. Yeah. So until we find a better long-term solution, I guess we are stuck to that. Yeah, Richard and Mohammed.
I'll let Mohammed go first, maybe.
Yeah, hey, so
Yeah.
so I guess if you talking about the proposal for the network rule, I believe this one is just forgotten because the rules and network work is already merged since a while. So the proposal, there's a BR that Milan, our like previous team member, he make it, but I believe it's just forgotten to be approved. Like because the work is already merged and people using it. So for the proposal, it just need an approval. And yeah, and for the Rosa, like there I set up already also like a while ago two alias for Rosa reviewer and Rosa maintainer, our under our owner alias setup. And yeah, we're supposed to like to start adding more people to supporting Kappa in general and in Rosa specifically. So let's see, like it's just, people just need time, to get more experience and be able, to distribute in Kappa in general and then Rosa specifically. So yeah, we are pushing that direction, but it's just, a couple of months is more and then we will have more people joining the team, yeah. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. Are you guys still hearing me? Because I see.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought like I have hang or something. Okay. But the screen is black, is that correct? Or
Yeah, black with like a white, just a small white line in the middle.
okay, so
Well, is it back?
Yeah.
now it's back. Yeah.
Okay.
On that point, I was sort of carry on.
No. Go on, Richard. I was just saying I just switched over to Slack to send you a message, and the screen went black. Fine.
I was going to say, at some point, do we want to reopen the conversation around whether we move the Rosa out into its own provider, so you can have a completely separate release cadence, complete ownership?
You mean for Rosa to be separate provider? Well,
Yeah.
that's something we discuss, and to be honest with you, like we have thoughts about it, and it will happen maybe, but when exactly? But it's just like win-win. Like if we stay with Kappa, we help you guys in Kappa, and if we move to another provider, so then we take responsibility for everything, and in the end of the day, we share in common component, like all the AWS identity stuff is shared, So it's kind of would be duplicating work if we go in another complete separate provider. So I'm not sure. Like it's just we need to evaluate, how much effort will be there, and if we can make our effort as well supporting Kappa in general, that will be win for Kappa community in general. instead of having, our own provider and, doing our stuff in our own. So
Yeah, cool.
but yeah, so maybe yeah, so I was yeah, maybe then Demian we start talk about, because we wanna support more release for Kappa. So next time we have release, so one of those engineers can be more, get more involved in release cycle, so we can take like the ownership of doing releases with you guys, then make easy for for you as a maintainer as well. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, thanks, Mohammed. Yeah, I guess we can, unless there's anything else on this, we can move to the last one today. So to catch you up on this, Richard, basically, so KubeADM had some changes, right? And these changes have caused us significant amount of trouble. One problem, we discussed a lot was the fact that KubeADM switched to use a local endpoint to talk to the API server during init. But that was only used for a couple of steps and not all of them. And so it would progress for those couple of steps and then fail for the remaining ones for Kappa because of the way NLB registration takes a long time to propagate correctly and start flowing traffic. So one change we did we agreed on the KubeADM side was to use the local endpoint for all the steps in KubeADM init, and that merged. And we got good success with it, especially on the CapG side. CapG was able to resolve all the issues with that. In Kappa, unfortunately, we were still seeing issues. And I investigated in depth and for a long time on this. And I figured out the actual issue is now that we pass on to the join phase. And during join, the join step does several API calls to the Kubernetes endpoint and goes through the external endpoint rather than the internal one. And going through the external one, it does use a client that retries for 5 minutes. And the problem is that some calls during like the initial propagation of the NLB, some calls pass and flow in, and some are dropped because it's still unstable. And so the first, what KubeADM join does is it probes the first step as a long kind of like retry step to probe it up, and then it considers it up. And then all the subsequent calls are never retried. They are clients with very short, like 300 millis timeouts and no retries. So the first one passes, maybe like it fails a couple of times, that passes, and then it will fail again the next, right? So he passes the first, and then he fails he passes the third. We pass on to the next step, which doesn't have retries, and then that step fails immediately. Which is why we're seeing this failure only on one odd test every like 2/3 of the times on like some random specific test that ends up being the first one that we run. Or not the first one, but the one that has the odd chance of catching it. And so the idea to solve it has been to make kubeadm join all kubeadm join calls to use the default timeout that is configurable for the kubeadm join configuration, which is by default 1 minute with retries. And so instead of like using 5 minutes plus 5 minutes for the first one and then 300 millis for all the others with no retries, we use 1 minute by default on all calls with retries. And this was agreed on, got merged, got backported, and basically we're going to have it back to 133. And so the only problem is until that's released in a Z stream, we cannot consume it in our E2Es. And so until then, we will have potential E2E failures with flakes and stuff. We have thought about a couple of ways. One way to progress is to basically wait for 2 weeks until there is a Z stream out. I think it's like 134.9 that should have this fixed. But we need to also consider the type of failure we are facing. Like this failure is specifically on the workload clusters, right? So it's not on the management cluster. It's the workload clusters that are being stood up. They are not, the worker node is not able to join the control plane with the kubeadm init join. And so at the moment we are blocking on urging because the E2E is failing, and the E2Es always use. So what we do normally with Kappa is we go in lockstep and we say, okay, let's bump to case 134 and copy XYZ. And so what we do is we change all our dependencies to case 134 in terms of like Go libraries and stuff. We change the management cluster to be using 134, and then we change the workload cluster to be using 134. That said, customers and users of Kappa will use this like 2.12 version that we release with a variety of workload case versions, right? Not necessarily 134 or whatever. So in theory, we are not blocked per se on releasing if we have like green signal on E2Es and we sustain green signal to just being able to carry on maintaining the project. So what we could do is we could downgrade to 133 for the workload clusters that we use in the E2E tests. The workload cluster version for the E2E tests, we use 133. And we use 134 for, of course, like all the libraries and the management cluster. And we do the copy bump as well. And then by using the 133, we should be clear on that issue because it uses the old behavior where the init was blocking on the external endpoint being ready. And so by the time we reach the join, we don't have that problem anymore. And we should be able to, by then, have green E2Es and so be able to merge and release. And then as soon as there is a 134.9 out, we can tweak the E2E YAML to use 134.9 and we should get green E2Es as well, but with the E2E change. In fact, we don't release the E2Es per se, so nothing will change in the release payload. It's just that we are going to test against an older version versus a newer one.
Yeah, it seems reasonable to me, especially if it allows us to progress. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Because what you're talking about, as soon as that new version is out, then we can do another release, then can't we? We can just update the end-to-end test and then do another release. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, well, we can update D2Es even without releasing, right? Because D2Es are not necessarily something we release. We could, yeah,
That's the point.
we're gonna need to cherry pick them to cherry pick the D2E version change for the workload back to the 2.12 branch, whatever.
Yeah.
But we don't necessarily need to do a full release for that.
Yeah, good point. Sounds good.
Mohammed?
Yeah, so Damian, are we expecting the stream for Cube admin to be like happening in a week you mentioned, or that part wasn't clear to me enough?
Yeah, me neither. I have not specifically checked when it is scheduled.
Okay.
I was chatting with Carlos Panato about this, and Carlos was saying that it should be in July, but
Okay.
hasn't specified when that's going to be. The cadence is well written in the Kubernetes guidelines, so I suspect it'll be in the first week or the second of July, according to the kind of like the cadence, but
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure when that's going to be specifically.
Yeah, that's fine. So I guess like we can wait, like if you guys think not that direction, but if it's worth waiting for 1 week and then we can move on
Yeah,
with
but the
yeah.
problem is, we're waiting for a week and then another, and we have been waiting for like 3 months. Last time, the Pampia was open.
Yeah.
The Pampia was open like on the 3rd of February. It's been like ages. I would prefer to get it merged, given it is not the bump per se that is breaking. It is the change in the Kubernetes version we are using for the workload.
I agree. Okay. Okay then.
So should I try and downgrade that and see if we get green tweez? If
Yeah.
not, because yeah, okay. My suspicion is that this behavior, so the first behavior changed, right? So the first behavior changed in 134.2. But the second behavior, like this one specifically about the join timeout and stuff, that I think was born that way, is just that the first behavior, the old first behavior was shielding us from the second behavior. And now that the first behavior has changed, we now hit the issue on the second one. So I suspect by downgrading, we should be able to go back to the old behavior on the first, and then so not hit the second. But yeah, I still think there could be flakes anyway in the NLB that trigger the second bug. But yeah, I think by hitting 134.9, we won't have any of those anymore. So hopefully, even if we still have some flakes on 33, but they are fewer, we can still move to 33 and merge the PR and get it published. Okay, sounds good. Cool. Anything else on the matter? Cool. If not, then have a good rest of your day, and we'll see each other in 15.
Thanks for listening, Damian.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Richard, can you stay around 1 second? I need to check something.
Let me just stop the recording.